Good morning, my lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard. I'm Laura, and this is a Halloween video. As I said in my intro, this is a Halloween video. More specifically, today I'm going to be discussing the Home Depot animatronics. Are you proud of me? I did not say Home Depot, but I cannot promise you that I will keep that consistency the rest of this video. But for now, Home Depot animatronics are what we're looking at today. So without further delay, let's get started. So first off, Home Depot has two different collections. They're very unclear as to which animatronic belongs to which collection. Some people think they're getting from one collection and they end up getting it from another collection, like the titles are different. So for now, I'm not going to place them into categories, but we are going to talk about a lot of them. There is the Grave and Bone collection, and then there's the Moonlit Magic collection. So the Moonlit Magical collection is like magical and mystical and witchy, and then the Grave and Bones collection is just like normal tombstone-y kind of things. Lots of bones, lots of creepy things. So they do have two prominent collections this year. And of course they have a lot of returning things. So while I'm on the subject of returning, I need to move over. If my bench would move with me. Come on. There we go. Okay. The 12-foot skeleton is coming back this year. This was a huge deal. Like, literal and figurative huge deal. It is back. Like, there were Home Depot memes. There were 12-foot skeleton memes. This was just an all-out phenomenon for Halloween. So, it's amazing to see the 12-foot skeleton back this year. There's nothing bad for me to say about the 12-foot skeleton. I'm not even gonna rate him because, like, the internet's already done that for me. He's obviously a 6 coffins out of 6 because look at him. He's 12 foot tall. That's double the height of my tallest friend. It's amazing. Like, I'm obsessed with the 12-foot figures, but the OG 12-foot skeleton is where it's at, and you can't go wrong with it. You can decorate it any way, you can put it in so many different places, and it's perfect. Without even a rating, just wanted to mention that it is coming back. Of course, limited quantities, because with Home Depot, they always have limited quantities, but if you're lucky enough, it will be there. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is, it isn't technically an animatronic, but it's a decoration that you would put an animatronic in or near or around, and it's something that could be a staple piece within your haunt or within your decor. So I am going to discuss it.
Foot gold encrusted casket, intricate engravings and bold gold detailing adorn this sinister life-size sarcophagus. A hinged top and removable bottom panel make it easy to add your own artifacts of the afterlife.
The 6-foot coffin from Home Depot it's black and it's got gold engravings on it, and it's 6 foot tall. Again, the height of my tallest friend. Like, I could fit in here with room to spare. Like, I could take snacks in this casket with me. I don't know if I said casket before or coffin, but it is a casket. It's not a coffin, but I'm a coffin goth, and coffin's just like stuck in the brain. It is a casket, and I love it. It's got the skulls on the front that are gold encrusted, and then there's some gold detailing around the edges and around the sides. You couldn't carry somebody around in it, but someone could stand in it and scare people if you had it propped up. Or if you didn't have it propped up, you could always put stuff in it. It would be great for parties if you put it on a table and just had snacks inside. There's so many possibilities for a casket. It's just one of those great additional things that you can have. It doesn't come with the skeleton, it's just the casket. So don't be deceived by the video. It doesn't come with the skeleton, it's just the casket. But it's a 6 foot tall casket. With that being said, I rate this a 6 out of 6 coffins. I rate the casket 6 out of 6 coffins. Why? Because it's useful. It's one of those props that could be used in multiple places. And for multiple different things. Just like the 12-foot skeleton, it has versatility. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the word I've been trying to pull out of the realms. Versatility. That's what it has, and I enjoy that.
Yes, come closer, but watch your step, or you will be the next that I collect.
The next one I'm talking about is the 4-foot animated goblin. This guy is cute and creepy. He reminds me of... He does kind of remind me of Necrogoblicon. You say it. I've seen them perform at least twice, and I still have no clue how to pronounce their band name correctly. But the Goblin, it's a goblin, and I think that it's very similar. But this prop looks like an extension of Bag O' Bones from Spirit Halloween, in the fact that it reaches down into its bag and pulls out a skull, and that's like the motion that it makes, and then it talks about like how you'll be its next victim. It's cute, it's kitschy, but it isn't versatile. That's the word of the day here. It's not versatile. It can be used in maybe 2 or 3 different themes, and that's it. That being said, this would be a great addition to those themes. Like if you have an Enchanted Forest Halloween themed yard, or if your haunt is in a forest, this little guy would be great. And he's 4 foot tall, so he's not a little guy by any means. Your goal is to scare little children who are typically under 48 inches. This guy would be kind of creepy, so he's a good one. He's good. He's okay. I'm gonna give him 5 out of 6. I'm being generous today. I'm giving him 5 out of 6 because even though he's not completely versatile, and even though I can't see him in a lot of things, I can see him in a lot. His face looks nice. The eyes would glow in the dark, especially if you're in a forest. And a lot of the haunts around here are in forest areas. So this guy does have a special place within the haunts, especially outdoor haunts. That being said, 5 out of 6 coffins because he's great. He's just not perfect.
I am crafting curses that will chase you into the night!
Sticking with that Enchanted Forest theme, the next one is a 6 foot tall wizard. Again, 6 foot tall. The height on recent animatronics gives me chills. I love that it's not just tiny little things here and there anymore. Everyone is going big. And Home Depot said, we're going big. And a lot of their animatronics are 6 foot and taller. Like, there are very few of their main staples that are not 6 foot or taller. I don't know why these aren't looping. These are just stopping. This wizard has glowy eyes. That's the one thing I don't like about him, actually. But if he's in the middle of performing a spell, I guess the eyes make sense. The beard looks too groomed to me. He's higher up there. Like, he's definitely got somebody on the inside of the castle walls he's living with, because he doesn't look disheveled in any way. And that's okay. Like, again, there's a special place for him in someone's haunt. And I do like the ball. I do like the magic ball and the staff. Like, they double timed it and gave him 2 things for you to focus on. There could be a whole story built around the fact that he has a sphere in his hand as well as a magic staff. There's a lot of layers to this guy. I really like the details on his face. He looks realistic. He doesn't look fake, if that makes sense. Even with the glowing eyes, he could easily pass for somebody. And if you had other people in purple robes like that, that would be like the best. Even if he was just standing there without his sounds, it would look cool. Do I like him 6 coffins worth? No, I'm gonna give him 4. And I know I gave the goblin 5 and I'm giving the wizard 4, and I kind of said the same things about them, but I feel like the Goblin could be used in more places. And though the wizard is 6 foot tall, is he going to scare someone? There's more that would have to go into this guy to make him part of a haunt, rather than the Goblin that you could just stick in the forest and he's got his creepy little motion and his creepy little words, and that's all he would need. The wizard, you'd have to build it up some. You'd have to do like some sort of ritual happening or something fantastical. You'd have to have a storyline around this animatronic and more of a wizardy theme or a medieval theme to go along with him. In previous years, we did get more of the Enchanted Collection where there was like a king and a queen and things to build on this, but you would have to have multiple characters to make this guy work. That's why I'm giving him a 4 out of 6.
Welcome to our haunted house.
So we talked about a wizard, so let's talk about a witch. And this one is called the 6 foot standing witch. I'm never a fan of witches with creepy noses. Like, in my high school days, I called them goblins instead of witches. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the nose feature being a prominent thing with witches, because they always have the extended chin and the extended nose, and it makes them look like they have beaks, and I never enjoyed that. But that aside, she's a really cool prop. Lots of detail in her face. Her eyes glow, which I don't quite like, but again, as with the wizard, it can make sense if she's like mid-spell. And I really like her hands. I know the video keeps showing her hands, so it wants you to pay attention to those, but I like that her nails are painted. They're not painted black either, they're painted pretty purple. So I do like it. I like that her nails match her outfit. It matches the little band on her hat, and she's cool. She like turns her head and has good jaw movement. She's a nice animatronic. Again, you'd have to pair her in a witchy location. You'd have to have a theme built around her rather than her fitting into an existing generic theme, but she's a really good prop. That being said, I think it's only fair to still give her 4 out of 6 because she doesn't do a lot, and she doesn't do a lot for the surroundings. She's just an additional piece, in my opinion. I don't feel like this witch would be a centerpiece. She is also 6 foot tall, which, thinking about it, yeah, she'd draw your eye, but you kind of are going to lose a little bit of the detail if you have to look up at her. And most people that are going into haunts are not going to be 6 foot tall. So to have a 6 foot tall witch, they're going to be focused more on those creepy hands than they are the details in the face. They're going to hear what she's saying, and they're going to pay attention to those hands and expect them to move or lunge out at you. So I think I'm being fair by giving it a 4 out of 6, especially since I gave the wizard a 4 as well.
Yes.
So these lovely ladies are the 5.5 foot animated Cauldron witches. And again, it's another one of those 2-for-1 kind of things. You get both of them and the Cauldron for the price of one animatronic. So that's cool in itself. They have 2 individual faces. They're not like a carbon copy of each other. And I really like that their outfits are very different. There's one that has like a shawl versus one that has a cape, one that has an apron. The other one's apron's a lot different. Like, they definitely have their own personalities, and I really like that. They also have a lot of detail. There's detail in their faces. Their hair doesn't look fake. The only thing I really can complain about is the hat, but I'm sure that with the wires in it, you could adjust them and make them look different. So I really don't have a lot of complaints with these guys. I think they're actually a great addition to any porch or any outdoor setting, as long as they're covered, because they do need to be covered. They'd be really nice for an indoor haunt too. You just have to do like a witchy themed room and have them in the corner. So they hit all those good points. They're versatile, they look nice, and for that I'm going to give them a total of 6 coffins out of 6 because I just think it works. And I really like that they look so lifelike, like 5 foot tall, and they have very detailed faces. They look creepy, and that's a plus for me. They not only stand their own ground as an animatronic, but they also look really cool. So 6 out of 6 coffins for the 5.5 foot animated Cauldron witches.
At 6 feet tall, the spirit twins pair bring the afterlife to life.
The next animatronics are the spirit twins, and I originally was in love with these. The video that Home Depot provided makes them look good. They don't look this good. I've seen an unboxing of them. I haven't seen them in person yet. But the unboxing that I saw, they are like this big. They're itty bitty. They're teeny tiny little ghosty people. Like little waifs. And they're both 6 foot tall. So all this detail, the hood, the face, the hands, all of that is going to be pretty high up on your visual scale. And then the tiny body is what is going to be at eye level. But like on someone's porch, if you had one on either side, they'd look really cool there. You just have to build out their waist a little bit. I don't know, it's something about how tapered down the waist is that really bothers me, especially since they took the time to make it not look tapered in the display video. But that being said, I think it's an amazing deal because you get 2 of them. Not one animatronic, but 2. I also don't like the noise they make. It's very loud. The sound throws me off. So with that being said, I'm giving them 3 coffins out of 6. They're halfway there. Well, let's go with 4. I know, I changed my mind in a split second, but the reason I went from 3 to 4 is simply because you get 2 of them, and it's a great buy to get 2 for the price of 1, basically. 2 6-foot figures. So the things that I don't like about it definitely outweigh the things that are really great about a 2 for 1 prop. So they're not quite at the 6 mark, but that 4 out of 6 is the best that I can do for these.
No need to be scared.
Or filled with fright.
As long as you fill our bags with goodies tonight.
With battery power and optional light-only setting. A generously long connection cable keeps the 2 in sync, even at a distance.
Next are the animated LED pumpkin twins. Oh my gosh, pumpkin twins. These give off like big trick-or-treat Sam vibes. And the best part about these guys is not only are they battery operated, well, you can choose for them to be battery operated, but not only that, they have a connection cord that's really long, so you can sit one on one side of the room and one on another side of the room, and they'll still talk to each other. As I said, with the Cauldron Witches, you do get 2 for the price of 1, and they have their own personalities, and they interact with each other. They like feed off of each other, kind of like the 2 Scoops animatronic. They do kind of feed off of each other, which really is super cool. And I love that they're just like always fiddling in their bags, and I don't know, they look really creepy. I like their little classic Halloween costumes. There's one dressed like a skeleton and one dressed like a little witch, and the only thing I don't like is the little witch's wig, but because it is a pumpkin with hair, I'm assuming it's supposed to look like a cheesy Halloween wig, so that gets a pass. I am such a sucker for farm themed animatronics, and these guys, you get 2, and they're really creepy and cute. Like, they're more creepy than cute, and these go really well with the collection they had last year that was the creepy pumpkins. So I know I've been super generous with this video, but I'm gonna have to give them a 6 out of 6 coffins as well, just because why wouldn't I? They look so cool. They can be battery operated, or you can plug them in. They have multiple sayings. They're easy to set up. They can be indoor or outdoor if they're under a porch or covered with something. Like, they're really super versatile. They would go with multiple themes. Just all around 6 coffins for sure. Let's go through the shorter things first and then build up to some of the taller things. Next on the list is an Oogie Boogie. He is also 6 foot tall. 6 foot tall seems to be the thing at Home Depot this year, but it's Oogie Boogie. I mean, you can't really say much about him. He's the burlap sack Oogie Boogie, and he's got the bugs in his eyes, like the glowy bugs, and the glowy bugs in his mouth, which is a really, really cool added effect. Did not expect that, but I'm so glad that it's there because it does add that little bit of vibrancy to him, even though he's not that vibrant green that we see most of the props use. Anytime you see Oogie Boogie in stores, 9 times out of 10 he's green instead of burlap, and I actually really love the fact that he's burlap here. He does sing a copyrighted song, so if you're worried about that in your haunt, that's something to think about. But if you're putting Oogie Boogie in your haunt, most likely you have other Nightmare Before Christmas themed things, or you have a casino theme, one of the two. So he is a good fit in those kind of haunts. He's novelty, he's licensed, it's Oogie Boogie. So with that being said, I'm going to say 6 out of 6 because you can't go wrong with an Oogie Boogie licensed prop. I think that the little details like the bugs in the mouth and eyes was just the thing that sent me over to the 6. It's a great prop. And out of the ones that they've come out with, as you can see in the video, there's like there's a glimpse of the Jack. They do have a 6 foot Jack and a 6 foot Sally that I'm sure will be back in stores this year that goes along with this guy. So the fact that they have a full Nightmare Before Christmas collection just kind of bumps it up on the list.
This cauldron has been updated for this season with a new look and color. My favorite addition is the new bone utensils and the burning logs.
Next we have the bubbling cauldron. Again, not really an animatronic. It is definitely taller than me. And I like the details. I like the bubbles. I like how bulbous the bubbles look. Like, you can tell that there's bubbles in the cauldron. A lot of times they either sell empty cauldrons, or they sell cauldrons where you can't really see what's inside, or they rely more on the lighting effects than they do the actual sculpt on top of the cauldron. I also really like the spoon and fork thing that are made of bone. I think that's a really nice touch. It would go along well with multiple themes, and it's a great added piece. But you know what I say about added pieces. They get a 5 out of 6. Even though they're a fantastic prop, they're not a centerpiece prop. They're not a prop that you could use on its own and it be creepy enough. It needs something else. It needs a whole theme built around it, and it's definitely an inspiring piece. So 5 out of 6 coffins, just because there's room to build around it, but it is a fantastic prop. I feel like I'm being way too generous with these animatronics this time. But anywho,
Roses are red, violets are blue. You'd better hide, or I'm gonna catch you.
the next one we're talking about is Terry the Clown, or Terry the Clown. I want to say it's Terry, but it could be Terry because Tear and Terror are spelled the same way, and I don't know. But he's really creepy, and I like him. He has all the things that I like in an animatronic. I'm going to call him Terry. Terry has everything I love in an animatronic. He's versatile, and he's not necessarily a clown, even though he has the clown features. He is Terry the Clown, but he's not just a clown. He's a creepy guy. He's got flowers. He's got, like, human-esque features. His first creep factor is not the fact that he's a clown. Now, I'm not quite sure how tall he is. I believe he's either 5 or 6 foot, because in some of the demo videos that I've seen of people unboxing him, he is above door frames. Like, his head reaches to the door frame. So I'm assuming he's going to be between 5 and 6 foot. I don't know if they actually told us in the preview video, though. He does have some phrases, and one of his phrases does mention a hole in the ground. So that's something that you could incorporate in your haunt, whether it's having him at a gravesite because he's got the flowers, which I believe is what he's intended for, or something else, a carnival theme, just a creepy clown thing, something adjacent to Saw. Like, there's so many possibilities with this animatronic, even with the limitations on what he says. I like that he's grimy, I like that he's dirty, I like that he's, like, got some character to him, other than just being a clown. Because a lot of the animatronics we're seeing this year, they're just clowns. And that's what's supposed to make them creepy. This guy is creepy, and then he's a clown. It's like an afterthought. I do think that he would disappear in the darkness of a haunt. I think that he would have to be up front, or he would have to have lights on him, specifically on his face, to see that detail and to see the eyes and all of that. Like, unless you have a light on him, he's going to disappear in your haunt. And there are some ways to use that to your advantage, but because of that, I'm going to say 5 out of 6 coffins, just because he does kind of vanish with all of his neutral colored clothing, and there's nothing to really make him pop except for those flowers. So you see the eyes and you see the flowers, but if it's dark in your haunt, that's all you're going to see, unless you put a light on him. And the fact that you have to go that extra mile for him to stand out could be a hindrance, or it could be a positive, because he could be hiding in the shadows, and that's creepy. But at the same time, you pay all this money for an animatronic, you want people to pay attention to it. So it's a double-edged sword here, but I'm just going to stick with my 5 out of 6.
Welcome.
4 AA batteries or an optional included power adapter is all it takes to bring this straw-stuffed psycho into action.
It's a scarecrow. I can't say much bad about a scarecrow. You know how I am about scarecrows. This is the 6-foot-tall Faceless Scarecrow. Normally, I wouldn't like that there's no bottom half, but it's a scarecrow. I actually really like the colonial vibes that this one gives off. I enjoy the hat. I like how much hay there is on the hands and the lower body, but the face is by far my favorite. It's nothing like the other scarecrow that I really liked this year, but it's different and just as good in its own way. I'm not sure how I feel about the skeleton chest versus it looking like roots or sticks or something like that. Like, some tomato stakes would have been really cool, but it looks a little too bone for me, and that might just be from the reference pictures. When you see it in person, it might look more like wood, but it looks more skeletal right now, and that's kind of throwing me off. Not as good as the scarecrow I liked in previous videos, but it does have some pretty cool sounds. I think my biggest complaint is the stiff movement. It lifts its arms really slow and stiff, and just the whole motion kind of throws you off. Just because of the things that I mentioned, I am going to have to do 5 out of 6 coffins instead of a whole 6. I almost went with 4, but the face was a real saver for this one. I definitely love the face on this one, and it's one of those that I feel like it looks cool even when it's lit up, which is a rarity for me. I don't really usually like lights in places they shouldn't be, but with this one, it makes sense, and I think it looks cool either lit up or not lit up. Also, another thing that made me give it 5 coffins instead of 4 was the fact that it can also be battery powered rather than being plugged in. And anything that can be battery powered can be stuck somewhere where a plug isn't, especially if you're doing like a day haunt or say a carnival, an indoor carnival. It would be really interesting to just have this guy in the middle of a floor surrounded by hay. So I can totally see how he could be used in multiple spaces, and for that he gets 5 out of 6 coffins. I am down to my final 5, the last 5 animatronics I'm going to talk about today. And I'm saving my favorite for last.
I love the sounds of your whimpered pleading. It's like music to my ears.
So next we have the 8-foot Smouldering Reaper. This guy is amazing. I don't know if I'm feeling generous today or if Home Depot just wanted to blow our minds this year. I don't know what the deal is, but these animatronics are impressive, and this guy's pretty impressive. I don't like one thing about him, but I like a lot of things about him. The detail on the skull is great. The jaw movement, great. The eyes, creepy. The chest, also creepy. I don't like the lower body. They just kind of phoned it in. They were like, let's make the upper body look really cool. Lower body, just put a PVC pipe up his spine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be under a robe. Just don't worry about it. And I wanted them to worry about it just a little bit. Give us something more than just a PVC pipe and a robe. Again, is just my thing with the tapered waist. This guy, a lot like the spirits, the spirit twins, has a tiny waist. And the waist starts where the pelvic bone should be. So it should be a little wider and go straight down. But where it cuts off with the robe, it just kind of falls in. And it ruins the illusion. Especially with that rope tie. The rope kind of weighs it down in a way. It looks like it weighs it down and doesn't sit on those hip bones like it should. I feel like if they would have just gone a little bit further down and given us the top of the hip bone, or even just the plastic structure of the top of the hip bone, it would have finished it. It would have made it perfect. It was phoned in halfway down the spine. But the rib cage is fantastic. The fire effect is fantastic. I haven't even talked about the scythe yet, but the scythe is a prop all on its own.
His strong, ghoulish grip masters a colossal spine-chilling scythe. It is adorned with a jagged, bejeweled base and the bones of souls past and present. The bone-crushing blade is gilded with a screeching skull with menacing red eyes.
There's so much detail on that scythe alone. The skull on the back, it's a mind-blowing prop. And the fact that it's 8 foot tall, on one side of the sword, it's 8 foot tall, holy crap. But then on the other side of the sword, it's 8 foot tall, so I'm going to be looking at the not so impressive part of it if I'm looking straight ahead. But who's going to be looking straight ahead with this towering over you at 8 foot tall? With that being said, he gets a 5. 5 coffins out of 6. I feel generous this video. I definitely feel generous. But this one I think really deserves it. It almost deserves a 6. If I had a way to do 5.5, I would. So let's count this 5 as a 5.5. Because the only thing I don't like about this is the fact that there's not detail below the waist. And it doesn't look like there's detail. Most animatronics don't actually have detail below the waist, but they have structure that shows you that it could be. With larger props, they use boning to make them look big, and there's foam pads that make you think that there's a leg there when it's just a pipe. There are ways to make props look fuller than what this one looks. Same with the spirit twins. They could have filled them out a little bit more and I would have been happier with it. But this guy definitely deserves 5.5, almost 6 coffins out of 6. Next is a 9.5-foot animatronic.
His plastic body ripples with realistic detail, supported by a sturdy metal frame, and dressed in a torn buffalo plaid shirt and tattered blue pants. His piercing LCD life eyes dart from side to side, wide with insatiable hunger. His long lupine claws are razor sharp, and his massive yellowed fangs, lit by blood-red LED light, are on full display as he heaves back his enormous head and howls.
A werewolf. The Immortal Werewolf, to be exact. The details on this cast are phenomenal. But it's a cast. It's plastic. It's a plastic werewolf. And while it is creepy, it is 9.5 foot tall, and it's dressed great. It's got that like camper vibe with the plaid shirt and the pants. It's a classic werewolf prop, but it's plastic. And I know that it's plastic because they wanted its mouth to move. They wanted to do details in the face. I get it, but I'd love to see it with fur on it. If K&T Do Halloween were a thing anymore, I would wish to see them redo it with fur. Because while he is creepy and amazing in so many ways, I feel like when you have lights on him, he's just gonna be a shiny plastic mess. And he doesn't deserve that. I mean, he's got those lifelike eyes, the jaw moves, the teeth look great. But with the wrong light, he could look really plasticky, because he is. So while he has the potential to look creepy, while he has that potential to scare, especially being that tall, and his feet, oh my gosh, his feet look fantastic. The claws and the details on the hands and the feet, amazing. But while all of that is there, you can even tell from the prop video that downlight is making his head shiny. And depending on the lighting that you have in your haunt, could depend on if this prop reads cheesy or scary. That being said, it would be a great prop for someone who collects like classic movie things and a big fan of like the werewolves in general. This is a fantastic prop. Really detailed, really nice, like something to keep for multiple years and something to appreciate. But I've been way too generous this video, and I'm gonna have to give the Immortal Werewolf 4 out of 6. I'm not as impressed as I want to be by him. Maybe if they would have painted him matte instead of the slick shiny, I would be more out to be like, yeah, this is the best prop ever. But because he's shiny, I'm just like, 4. A 4. Next up, we have the 12-foot hovering witch.
Are you scared of heights, my pretty?
I really like the fact that they didn't say 12-foot everything. They made the werewolf more human-sized, like 9.5 rather than 12. That was a good choice because they've been going 12, 12, 12. And this lady isn't even 12 foot tall. Her broom is 12 foot tall. Like, I think that's really cool. This is going to be the coolest prop to see set up. I can't wait for it. I hope that some YouTuber that I watch that puts them together gets this one so that we can see how it's put together, because I'm excited to see this one either on video or even in person. Can you imagine if I actually could see this put together at Home Depot? That would be fantastic. We never get to see the 12-foot stuff in stores because they get bought so quickly. But to have this on display would be so cool. Because I can't fathom the mechanics of it. Her broom is what's tall, and then she's just like on it. She's hanging off of it, and it's just like mind-blowing. Home Depot outdid themselves with her. She's one of those staple pieces that needs nothing else. Nothing else. You could stick her at an opening to a trail, or in the middle of your yard, just anywhere. Stick her anywhere, and she needs no further explanation, nothing else around her. She is just a 12-foot tall witch on a broom. Again, Home Depot outdid themselves with her. I can't say anything negative. I can't think of anything negative. The only thing that could knock her down for me is if the construction wasn't as simple as it appears to be. Like if someone was putting this together and they couldn't get her to stand up properly. That would take her down. But for now, she gets a full 6 out of 6 coffins from me. The versatility is there because she needs nothing else. She speaks for herself, and the details are great. Not the biggest fan of her cape, but we're gonna ignore that because the rest of it looks amazing, and I do like the way that the cape looks like it's moving in the wind. There's a lot of movement in this piece that makes it just perfect. I'm already laughing at this one. This next one is a 15-foot animatronic.
Hidden LED lights in the hands, head, and body change colors for a gruesome, ghoulish glow. Built-in fans lend lifelike movement to this soaring shadow, blowing and billowing its terrifying tendrils. And the weather-resistant design stands up to even the most tortured of fright nights.
15 foot! 15 foot! Towering phantom. What? It's bigger than the house that they're showing it next to. It's humongous. 15 foot. This is all I can think of when I see this guy. The Phantom from Scooby-Doo. All I see when I see this guy. I want him to be in the teal colored robe. I would probably even change his outfit if I ever got my hands on this, just so he'd look like the Scooby-Doo Phantom, because that's all I see. I mean, yes, it's cool, it's creepy, it's got the multicolors behind it. This prop is just really fun, and when I look at it, all I see is the Scooby-Doo Phantom. Trying to push that image out of my head, it is a really cool prop. It's 15 foot tall, and once again, it speaks for itself. I like that you can see the light not just in the face, but throughout the body. It does give it that phantom appeal. It makes you think that it gives it like that hollow effect, where the hands and the face look solid, but the rest of it is just phantom. It's just ghost. It's just nothing there. And that's why you can see the light. And I feel like looking up at a 15-foot figure, that would be really creepy. And it's one of those things that you would want. It's one of those things that just would grab your eye and you wouldn't be able to look away from it. I think it's just a really, really cool prop. And it's something that people would talk about. This, to me, is on par with the skeleton, just not quite there. Like, if the skeleton were a 13, this would be a 12. So with that being said, I give the towering 15-foot tall Phantom a 6 out of 6. Why not? It looks so cool. There's not a lot of bad to say about it. I'd love to see the bottom of it, because the bottom of it may change my mind a little bit, but it does have things that the other ones didn't have. It has that fullness, and it has that versatility that I look for. And other props that we've seen from this same location have not have that fullness. This guy looks intimidating, and I love it. I love this prop. I think it's really cool. That being said, we have one last animatronic to see, and it's my favorite. I'm already going to tell you it's my favorite. It's my favorite, and it is Dean the Deathologist.
I've been told I'm the best bartender from Timbuktu to Portland. So please, step up to the bar and I'll serve you what is likely to be the best beverage you've ever had.
Look at him. Just look at him. Let's appreciate Dean for a moment. I know. He's simple. He's really simple. He's the kind of prop that if he were at Spirit Halloween, I may give him 3 or 4 coffins, and now I'm saying he's my favorite. But he's a 6-foot-tall bartender that's serving up a poisonous concoction. He's got an LED stream that has like a champagne color to it in the light, so it looks like an actual liquid is pouring down. With the LED going, it doesn't look as cool, but without the LED, it looks really cool because it does have those fiber optic strings to make it look like water pouring. They use this a lot with like Cracker Barrel props that have water, that have like water sounds but don't actually have water, or there's water in other parts but they want it to look like a waterfall in some other places. Like, it's one of those little cheap tricks that they use with animatronics and animated things. So I just really like him. I like his like dapper look. He's got that really cool mustache and the slicked back hair. Even though he's a skeleton, like the arm garter, the shoes, the really dapper shoes, like, it's a dated prop, so he looks like he could be a bartender in like the Wild West, late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, it's everything I like, and I want him. I want this prop to go at my bar. I really, 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 really want this prop to just stand behind my bar. I think he would look really cool, just year round, standing there, pouring eternal drinks. Out of the props from Home Depot this year, this is the Home Depot prop that I want the most. So with that being said, no surprise here, I'm giving him 6 out of 6 coffins because Dean the Deathologist is just a cool prop. He's unique, he's unlike anything else they have to offer this year, and I'd really like to see them elaborate on him a little bit, like give him some buddies, because I think he needs some buddies. I think he needs some buddies to go in a scene with him, like they have with the wizard. He's a good boy. I like Dean. I like Dean a lot, so Dean gets 6 coffins out of 6. So with that being said, that was me discussing the Home Depot props for 2022. For the comments down below, let me know which one was your favorite. We all know that Dean the Deathologist was mine, but what was your favorite? If you don't talk to me about that, tell me what you would like to see from Home Depot next year. And if you don't talk to me about that, just talk to me about something, because I love for you to talk to me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye!